Hey dears, welcome to my channel. This is Priya Karnaharan. Hope you all are doing good. And today's topic is about delegated legislation. So I'm gonna make it into three parts for this topic. In this first part, we will see meaning, definitions, historical background, classifications, reasons for its growth, and then constitutionality of delegated legislation. So let's get right into the video. First, we will see what is legislation. Legislation or a statutory law is a law which has been promulgated or enacted by a legislature or other governing body or the process of making it. So this is called legislation. And what is delegation? Delegation is the assignment of any responsibility or authority to another person. That is, for example, normally from a manager to a subordinate to carry out specific activities. So this is called delegation. And now we will see the meaning of delegated legislation. It's a law made by the individuals and institutions acting under a grant of legislative authority from Parliament. According to the traditional theory, the function of the executive is to administer the law enacted by the legislature. And in the ideal state, the legislative power must be exercised exclusively by the legislators who are directly responsible to the electorate. But in truth, apart from pure administrative functions, the executive performs many legislative and judicial functions also. Delegated legislation, it can be said that it's a law made by any person or authority under a power of Parliament. It is also known as subordinate legislation in administrative law. It allows the bodies beneath the primary authority or legislature to make laws according to their requirement through an act of Parliament. And then Parliament has full authority to permit any person or authority to make legislation. An act of Parliament creates a framework of a particular law which tends to be an outline of the purpose for which it is created. The important object of this is that any legislation by such delegation should be according to the purposes as laid down in the Act. The main features is that it allows the state government to amend the laws if there is any need without delaying for the new act to be passed by the Parliament. If there is any requirement, then sanctions can also be altered by the delegated legislation as the technology changes. For example, the local authority has power conferred by the superior one to make or amend laws according to the requirement of their respective areas. The delegated legislation plays a very important role as the number of them are more than the acts of the Parliament. It has the same legal standing as the Act of Parliament from which it is created. And next we will see the definitions of delegated legislation. It is not easy to get the exact definition of delegated legislation. Though simply delegated legislation is the making laws outside the legislature, it is mostly brought out as rules, regulations, orders, bylaws, etc. So, according to Salmon, delegated legislation is the legislation that comes from any form of authority apart from the sovereign power and depends on a supreme authority for the constitution of its existence. And according to MP Jain, he says that the delegated legislation is supplied in two aspects. The first part, it simply means that the body that makes up the legislation is under the legislature. The power of the legislature are executed by the authority, that is, not the legislature but with the use of power granted to them by the legislature. The second part, delegation legislation means a rule, regulation, bylaw, orders and so forth. And next we will see the history of delegated legislation in India. The delegation of power can be followed from the Charter Act of 1833. When the East India Company was recapturing political impact in India, the Act of 1833 vested the administrative powers only in Governor General in Council, which was an official body. In 1935, the Government of India 1935 was passed, which contained a serious plan of delegation. The report of the Committee of Ministers' Powers was submitted and affirmed, which completely settled the case for assignment of forces and appointed of enactment, was viewed as inescapable in India. Although the concept of delegated legislation was not mentioned specifically in the Indian Constitution, it can be understood by interpreting Article 312 of the given Constitution. And then next we will see the classifications of delegated legislation. Delegated legislation is classified based on the principles that follow. The first one is title based. The forms that delegated legislation may take are rules, regulation, bylaws, notification, etc. The second one is discretion based. The executive may receive a conferred discretion in order to make the act operational upon meeting particular conditions. Such a legislation is termed as conditional or contingent legislation. The third one is purpose based classification. The purpose has its basis on nature and the level of power granted and the purposes to which those powers can be practiced. This administrative rulemaking classification make use of the consideration of delegated legislation according to the various purposes it is supposed to serve. And the fourth one is authority based. The basis of this classification is the place of authority that makes the rules. The authority that makes rules may either delegate to itself or to be subordinate authority, which is more power to give rules. The practice of rulemaking power is called subdelegated legislation. And the fifth one is nature based. It's an exceptional delegation. And the next topic is reasons for growth of delegated legislation. The first reason is pressure upon parliamentary time. The legislature is not able to offer enough time to every matter in detail because of great amount of legislation brought about by the increase in responsibilities of the state. In that case, the legislature passes a blueprint of legislation that carries a general policy and gives the executive power to fill up the details. This is how the executive gives life by making the required rules, regulation, bylaws, etc. And the second reason is technicality. The complex nature of the modern government has legislation to become very technical. When the legislature sticks to policy statements alone, things can be made convenient and the administrative agencies will have the sequence of lawmaking handed over to them. The consultation of experts is required in times when the legislation has become technical. High technical matters cannot be dealt with members of parliament even though they are politicians. Therefore, legislative power may be granted to experts for them to handle the technical issues. Some of the examples of those technicalities are legislative matters concerning atomic and nuclear energy, etc. And the third reason is flexibility. The proper working of modern government that definitely needs good quality and quantity of law may not be given by parliament, no matter how long the attention to it. It therefore makes it a compulsory necessity to legislate rule making. And the fourth reason is experiment. The lack of validity and experimentation is a disadvantaged legislative process phase. However, the delegated legislation gives the executive an opportunity to experiment. The method allows the quick use of experience and enacting the required changes when applying the provision is the presence of experience. For instance, an experiment may be done in road traffic and during the application process, the required changes can be made. Fifth reason is emergency. Emergency call for quick reaction. It may occur during war, flood, economic depression and everything else similar. The legislative process does not have whatever it takes to offer immediate solution in such situations. This makes it necessary for the executive to have the power that may be executed immediately. And the sixth reason is confidential matters. Some situations call for the fact that nobody should know the law until it is operational. Some of those matters include rationing scheme, import duty imposition or exchange control. Next reason is complexity of modern administration. The complexity of modern administration has become undoubtable. It continues to take up more responsibility when uprising the welfare of citizens, such as looking after their health, education and employment, regulating trade, the industry and commerce along with the provision of other services. The next topic is Constitutionality of delegated legislation. Position in USA. Delegated legislation is not allowed theoretically in the Constitution of USA because of two reasons. The first reason is separation of power and the second one is delegate non-potest delegary. And then position in England. The doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty is the core element of Constitution of UK Constitution. In England, the Parliament is supreme and there is no limitation by the Constitution on the Parliament. Position in India. The position and constitutionality of delegated legislation in India can be seen in various cases. It is divided into two phases, that is pre-independence and post-independence. And that's it, dear. Thank you. Hope you all understand the topic that we have discussed in this class. If it was useful, give thumbs up to this video, and most of you have not yet subscribed, so please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell icon. Then only you will get a notification while I am uploading the other concepts.